Have you ever looked at your life and thought, I'm just not dreaming anymore. I'm just trying to survive? Because I think one of the quietest things life can steal from us is our ability to dream. Not all at once, not in some dramatic moment, but slowly, through disappointment, through people's words, through seasons that didn't turn out the way that you thought they would. And one day you wake up and nothing is technically wrong, but something just feels off because you're living smaller. Not because God made you small, but because life slowly convinced you to live small. Today, I want to teach you how to have God given dreams again. And I want to be really clear about what I mean when I say dream again. I am not talking about the head in the clouds, escape from the reality type of dreaming. I'm talking about the kind of dreaming that is rooted in how God made you, the kind of dreaming that reflects who you were before your life got too loud, before fear got loud, before others' opinions got loud, and before disappointment creeped into your life. If I look back at my life, even as a little girl, I just loved being in front of people. And I know for many people, actually, it's probably their worst nightmare to be in front of a large group. But for me, it's the most joyful place. If I couldn't find real people to listen to me as a kid, I would literally line up all my dolls and animals to come to my show. I would sell fake tickets and then I would just perform. I would talk, I would sing, I would create anything to entertain. And even when no one was watching, that is still where I wanted to be, a place where I could create because something in me was wired to gather people and share. And the older I got, the more I realized that that wasn't random. That was by God's design. And I wonder, what is that thing for you? What did you love before you started filtering yourself, before you started caring about what other people thought, before life told you to just be more realistic? Because your childhood often holds clues to your calling, not because we should live in the past, but because it reveals how God hardwired us. But here's the part that we do not talk about nearly enough. Most of us didn't just randomly wake up one day and stop dreaming. Something actually shut us down. Maybe it was rejection, maybe it was failure, maybe it was someone's words that stuck longer than they ever should have, or maybe it was just an environment that slowly chipped away at your confidence. And over time, without even fully realizing it, you just stopped expecting more. You stopped imagining more for yourself, and you stopped believing even that more could be possible for you. So let me ask you a hard question. If you could hit reset on your life right now, what would be the first thing you would change immediately? What bold move would you make if you hadn't lost your confidence yet? And what would you step into if you were still naive enough to believe it was even possible? Because somewhere along the way, life didn't just shape you, it shrunk you. And most of us aren't lacking vision. Believe it or not, we're living just underneath the weight of everything that convinced us to stop. I believe you can dream again because I believe you do have vision for what you want in your life. You just don't think that you can get it anymore. So, what would it look like if you actually believed it was possible? Here are some worthy things to think about. Number one, you don't rediscover your dreams in isolation. Isolation will always shrink your dreams, but community will breathe life back into them. Some of the best ideas I've had for books, for messages, for even this conversation, it came from being around other people. It did not come from sitting alone. In fact, this conversation is happening right now because I had a conversation over lunch with a girlfriend who was expressing how it was just hard to dream right now in her life because of so many broken things that had happened. And the next book that I'm writing came from an idea that I had with high school girls where we were all sitting down talking about a conversation. So these laughter moments, these conversations with friends and people, those are the things that help you dream again. So if you want to dream again, you have to invite the right people into that process. Number two, You have to look back before you can move forward. Now, you don't want to, of course, live in your past. That is not healthy. That is not biblical, but it is something that you can learn from because your past will reveal patterns and passions and wiring that is inside of you, things that brought you joy before your life got complicated. What is that thing for you? Even now, it's so funny. I see qualities in my 1-year-old son that have never been taught to him yet. And it just reminds me that, we don't negotiate with our design from God. He places it in us. He gives it to us. And maybe part of that dreaming again is simply rediscovering what was always there. Number 3, name what shut you down. You cannot move forward honestly if you won't at least take some time to realize what hurt you. Because for a lot of us, it wasn't that we stopped dreaming, it was that dreaming started to feel unsafe. And if you don't name that moment or that person or that season, you'll keep shrinking without even realizing the why. Number 4, dreaming requires courage. Because dreaming again means risking again. It means risking disappointment, failure, being misunderstood, rejection. And I think that's why so many of us stop because living small feels safer. But guess what? It's not what you were made for. Dreaming is not a luxury. It's not something we do when our life is easy. It's a responsibility that we have. Because when we stop dreaming, you don't just shrink your life, you shrink what God intended to do through your life. So maybe the question should not be, is it realistic for me to dream again? Maybe the real question should be, what version of me am I settling for if I don't continue to dream? I truly hope this conversation and so many of the others that we have on faith topics helps you along your journey in life. I love communicating. As you heard, I've been doing it since I was a little girl. It truly is my happy place. But my whole goal is to help you become more confident, live a more joyful life, and to find God in and throughout your journey, wherever that may be. So please give me ideas for more conversations you would like to have. Share, like, comment, and subscribe so we can continue having great conversations together. God bless you.